Hey there, it's Michelle, and I'm trying to make you a video. I am 39 years old and probably the most technically challenged 39-year-old ever. I have my iPhone, and I don't feel like that's the right tool to use, but I'm not sure what else I can use. I think you can do a laptop. Is that what most people do? I don't know. So I'm using my phone, and you're just gonna have to bear with me. Also, I feel like everybody has their phones like up like this at an angle to like knock off their chin, their double chin, which I have, but I don't care. We're just gonna go like this because it's more comfortable for my back. So, with all that being said, I want to talk to you today about the secrecy of addiction. And I know for me, when I was married to a substance abuser and an alcoholic, I have never been more alone in my life. And I'm not saying I've never felt more alone. I'm saying I have literally never been more alone in my life. My family did not know. I had lost most of my friends because every invitation that I received required me to leave the house, either with him, where he would get drunk and embarrass me, or leave him alone at the house where I would be worried and petrified of what I would be coming home to and wouldn't know how much he had to drink, and I would completely feel a loss of control. So I just decided to made the decision that it would be healthier for me to keep this addiction a secret and lose pretty much most of my social life and my friends. And I didn't tell my family because I loved him and I wanted to protect him. And I wanted to make sure that they still loved him. And here's the other part of the secrecy that I really want you to hear. Addiction wants you to keep this a secret, because the bigger the secret is, the stronger and more powerful this addiction becomes. So I want you to think of addiction as a ball, okay? Let's start out with like a soccer ball. If you have not told anyone, your parents, your friends, your therapist, anyone, that he has a drinking problem, you're dealing with the secrecy the size of a soccer ball. But if you've told or alluded or hinted to maybe one or two people, that's great. That means that the soccer ball shrunk to more like a tennis ball. And then if you have maybe 2 or 3 very trusted people in your life that you turn to consistently and tell the ultimate truth to, well, then the power and the secrecy of that addiction shrinks down to a ping pong ball. And if you're like me and you tell anybody and work it into almost any conversation that you were married to a man who struggles with addiction, well, then the power of the addiction shrinks down to a marble. And you really do want to get to the goal of a marble, but that takes time and you can't skip. You have to go sequentially. So a great place to start off with is to select 1 to 2 people that you really can trust with your feelings. Brene Brown has a wonderful book called Daring Greatly, and she discusses vulnerability and the privilege of vulnerability. And she says in this book that people have to earn the right to hear your vulnerability. So in other words, choose wisely, because there are a lot of people out there who don't want to hear your business and who are not going to handle your feelings and your vulnerability with the thoughtfulness and the care that it needs. So think about people you know, and it could be the woman you just met the other month. It doesn't have to be lifelong friends or very close family members. But when you decide to share this information with 1 or 2 people, or 3 or 4 people, you need to set the tone. That's your responsibility. It's not theirs. You need to set the expectations for them. And it goes something like this. You decide who you're going to talk to and you say, listen, I really have some personal feelings that I'd love to share with you because I think you would just really honor my feelings and I feel like we have a connection and you would cherish them. I would love to sit down with you for coffee, or I'd love to just find a space on a couch and talk for 30 minutes. And I need you to hear this. I don't need you to be my therapist. I don't need you to provide answers. I just need a really good, empathetic set of ears. When can we make that happen? Or how does that sound to you? Or is that okay? Because I'd love to get together soon. That's what you need to do with these people, because chances are most people don't know what to do with the information that you're about to tell them. They don't know if they should run to the computer and look up rehabs, or they don't know whether they should convince you to leave. You don't need any of that. The goal is not advice. That's what you can get from me. That's what you can get from your therapists or your groups or one of our programs. That's not what you need from your friends. From your friends, you just are looking for a very safe place that is not judgmental. That's the place in your heart that you need to fill up with those friends. And the more that you isolate yourself, the more that you refuse to leave the house, the more that you cover up his secrets, the sicker this disease will make you feel, the more powerful this disease becomes. So your soccer ball can turn into, one of those exercise balls. And those exercise balls, well, I don't know what's bigger than an exercise ball, but you get my point, is that you can't skip this. This is part of your recovery and healing. If you're new, again, start with 2 people. If you've told 2 people, grow that into 4. Grow that into 8. And then ultimately, the power of this addiction will become less and less. I promise you, it works. And one more thing, if somebody decides, because I run into this when I tell people that I was once married to an alcoholic and substance abuser, I never know how they're going to react. I mean, I'm telling my dentist, I'm telling the checkout woman at Publix, I'm telling everyone because I want to, it's my job, I'm an advocate, and because I want to give this disease a face. I'm not ashamed that I had this situation happen to me. I'm grateful for it. And he shouldn't be ashamed that he has this disease. He didn't choose that. That's not something he should hide behind. So the more people that raise our hands and say, we're suffering, this stinks, this is painful, but here's what works for me, the less and less this addiction gains control. So when I tell somebody that, I never know how they're going to react. Some people sometimes pull me aside and they go, oh, well, it's funny you say that because my sister or my mom or my friend loves a good man like that or a good woman. Or they look at me in judgment and I can tell it makes them feel uncomfortable. And you know what? Because I keep practicing this, that judgment does not affect me. Cool. So it makes you feel uncomfortable. So you're judging me for opening up to you or talking about a subject that maybe you don't want to talk about. Great. Maybe you'll use this information later in life and maybe you won't. But I'm moving on. And that is when you know that this disease does not have power over you anymore. That's when you know that you can stand tall and be proud And I'm praying that you get there, and I know you will get there one day, but we're going to take baby steps, okay? So start with just very little expectations of yourself. You don't need to be ashamed. This is not your fault. You did nothing to cause this disease. Nothing. You're not a bad wife. You're not a bad mom. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're lovely. If you were married to a healthy man, you would be having a great marriage right now. This is not about you, okay? So I want you to remember that today, tomorrow, and forever. All right, I love you. I hope you're having a good holiday, and stay tuned because I'm going to be talking and sharing more about if you're not having a good holiday, what to do about that. I'll talk to you later. Bye.